Hey there, folks. Welcome to Delicious Pairings. I'm Zach. Today, I want to discuss with you guys a new Nespresso Capsule seasonal blend called Tribute to Trieste. A little bit about the capsule, and also, of course, some delicious pairings. On the front of the box is the Piazza Unita d'Italia, the main square in Trieste. The building in the back is the Castle of San Giusto. Also in the square is the Cafe degli Specchi, their most famous cafe. It was actually established in 1839, so it's been there quite some time. On the right depicts Trieste's seafront, showing their link with trade and seafaring. One of the main goods, as you may have guessed, is coffee. In fact, Trieste is known as the coffee capital of Italy. 9 in intensity, deep dark cocoa note to it, and a little bit of a hazelnut finish. The beans are Arabica. The preferred extraction is a ristretto, which is a shorter shot. Look at that there, plenty of crema. Let's get a little bit of that aroma. You can tell it's got that darker hue, so it does match up with what they're saying, nice dark roast. Try to get it all over your palate if you can, so you could get the full flavor. It's got does indeed have like a deep dark cocoa essence, like a very dark chocolate, bit robust. It's also, some might get like a little nutty note at the end, so I see what they mean by a little hazelnut. It is supposed to be like a refreshing kind of fruity touch. I guess I can kind of see a little bit of that. Might not be a tasting pro, but overall, good blend, somewhat smooth. With something that's this kind of dark, usually you want something to maybe balance it out. So something rich and creamy is a good way to do that. So you could get some half and half, maybe some whole milk, or you could try to play off the nutty notes that it has. So you could maybe do a synthetic milk or like a almond or soy or walnut or hazelnut. Probably not cashew. Cashew's got a little bit more of an interesting flavor to it, and that might compete a little bit too much. The flavors I don't think would balance as well. For sugar, you might want to use something like raw. The darkness of the raw would go well with the kind of intensity of this blend. Also, sometimes raw sugar has a subtle caramelized note to it, almost like the caramel notes would pair well with the chocolate, so it's kind of like a Snickers bar. If you wanted to pair a syrup with it, I'd probably go with like a hazelnut, because obviously that pairs with the kind of hazelnut notes and would bring those out a little bit more. Or you could get a vanilla to kind of like smooth it out a little bit, like I was saying with the milks. Now, if you're thinking about frothing, you want to consider that half and half and whole milks, they tend to have like more of like a thick consistency. So when you froth them up, they don't tend to be as airy. So they would probably make a better like latte. You could do some excellent latte art with it. Frothability kind of tends to go with protein content. So these would probably be best as if you wanted it as a larger beverage with a lot of milk, you'd probably want to make a latte rather than a cappuccino. You could make a small macchiato, just like a little bit of froth on there, just to pair well and kind of cut the darkness of it if you wanted to. But mostly you'd probably want something a little more hearty if you're intent on doing some milk with it. So when you're getting into pairings, usually you're looking for kind of one of two things. Often people like to find something that shares a trait with what they're pairing it with. So for example, with the Trieste that we're doing, if you have like a hazelnut note, you might want to have some other hazelnut note that coincides with it to kind of further accentuate that nuttiness that you get. Or you might want to do something where it completes the flavor. So for example, like pairing a good wine with a cheese, to where those flavors are clearly not the same, but when you put them together, it feels like it is more full and you get a better experience out of it. So what I got for you guys today is actually something quite delicious. It's going to be it complements the hazelnut notes. So I actually decided to get a baked brie with a hazelnut reduction sauce. Got a few ingredients over there. I'll show you how to do it real quick. All right, let's give this a try. Oh. Ooh. Mm. Hmm. Hmm. Mm. I can taste it. How the brie helps complement some of the. It's kind of like more of a creamy note. How it complements with the espresso. The Trieste ends up having this this interaction with it where you get what smooths it out a little bit and brings out the creaminess, but also gets a little bit of that hazelnut. Mm. Another item that I found to pair very well with that I've made is actually these. They're actually chocolate dipped blueberries, which very easy to make. You just get some dark chocolate, you dip it in, and the hard part is to figure out a way to make them a little bit more edible. So I stick a long stick through them, a stir stick, and then easy peasy. Now the reason I chose blueberries is because a blueberry and most berries are kind of more of a darker fruit. Whereas if you had something maybe like an apple or more citrusy, that might not go as well. Whereas the darkness of the espresso would pair well with the chocolate. And I decided to go with a milk chocolate because that's going to have a little bit of creaminess, but also bring out some of the chocolatey notes of the beverage itself. So let's give it a try. Mm. Mm. Yeah, those chocolatey notes really go well with the Trieste. You could kind of taste like the deep, dark chocolatey notes that are inside the espresso, and it complements it quite well. I don't think a lot of other fruits would have the same kind of complement. Maybe other berries, but nothing too tart, and nothing overly sweet either. Which is why berries are quite perfect because they're flavorful, but they're also kind of like have kind of a depth of flavor to them. I may be biased though. I'm a bit of a big berry fan. Hmm. Now, I would advise that you use fresh blueberries so that way they have a lot more of that juiciness. If you use frozen ones, they're not going to have the same effect, and they're not going to have that as pungent a fruity note because there's going to be more ice in any kind of like frozen blueberries, for example. So they're not going to be as flavorful, and you're not going to be able to taste how it pairs as well with the espressos if you're trying to make some kind of pairing or dinner engagement or anything like that. Very good. Well, that's all I've got for you guys today. Come back next time and I'll do some different capsules, and I'll bring you guys more delicious pairings. If there's anything in particular that you want me to try next, or if you have something that you're trying to find pairings for, leave it in the comments below. You know, maybe I'll throw a few episodes like that in there. But and if there's any of the ingredients that you're looking for, I'll just have a little link at the bottom for a few of them, and for the espressos and such. In the meantime, have a lovely day, and thank you for watching Delicious Pairings.